wat ik dan inspirerende lessen hoor.
Hi there. I love INCRadio because it helps me communicate and reach out, be able to talk to people who I might not have been able to previously. It lets me have that connection with people, it lets me be able to conversate with people, it lets me report on different things. And most especially, it's actually quite fun.
This is INCRadio, DCEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesia ni Cristo.
Made in Australia.
Good day, mates. Welcome to another episode of INCRadio Made in Australia. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are watching, whether it's here in Australia, in the Philippines, or even in other parts of the world. Streaming all the way live from the local congregation of Stirling here in the Ecclesiastical District of Western Australia. This is Brother Hans Natividad once again joining you live today on another wonderful episode for INCRadio. It is also very exciting for me too, because I find it really interesting that tomorrow, starting from exactly tomorrow, we will already have spring season here in Australia, and I'm looking forward to it because we have been having so many rains here for the last several weeks, and it's about time we experience a lot of sunshine all throughout, a lot of beautiful flowers popping up everywhere, whether in the city or in the countryside. I'm really looking forward to this wonderful season. And on top of this, we are going to bring you another wonderful episode this week, because this time we will turn the spotlight into everyone who is looking and aspiring to start a small business here in Australia. So everyone, let's listen up and let's all get business ready as we dive deep today into the journey of starting and sustaining a small business here in the beautiful land down under. And as usual, please allow us to thank you for your continuous support to INCRadio's wonderful show Made in Australia. And today I'm also being joined by one of our wonderful hosts coming all the way from the eastern coast of Australia.
Hello everyone. Hello, Brother Hans. I am Sister Lovis Yamuta, coming from the local congregation of Melbourne Ecclesiastical District of Victoria, Australia. And you are right, Brother Hans. We are starting a new season. Springtime is here, and our topic tonight is also related about starting something new. Actually, it's all about starting a new business, and I'm very excited for this episode. But before that, I've got a question for everyone. Do you have a dream to start your own business? Well, look no further, because this episode is just really perfect for you. Because today's episode, we will be sharing tips and stories and lessons from Australian small business owners. And Brother Hans, like what I said earlier, this is such an interesting and exciting topic. But Brother Hans and I will not be alone in this episode. Of course, to help us with Australian small business stories and tips, we have our two wonderful guests, and I have the opportunity to introduce them, but obviously we will get them to speak later on as well. First up, we've got Sister Irene, who's a hair and makeup artist. And we've also got Brother Philip, who is a physiotherapist. And without further ado, Sister Irene, hello and how are you? Can you please introduce yourself po, and of course what your business is?
Hello po, brothers and sisters. I'm Sister Irene Serrano from local congregation of North Sydney, Ecclesiastical of District of New South Wales, Australia. And I'm a hairdresser and a makeup artist po, located at hospital.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Sister Irene. And how long have you had your small business po?
In my shop po, it's 3 years, but I'm doing po my skills is like 20 years na po, because my father is a hairdresser and my brother. So I'm helping out. So legally po dito sa Australia, it's 3 years po.
That's so awesome. 20 years of experience, Brother Hans. That's amazing, isn't it?
I reckon so, Sister Lois. I think we'll have a really amazing time with Sister Irene today. And also we are being joined again by Brother Philip. And Brother Philip, it's your turn. Can you please introduce a little bit of yourself and your local congregation and which business you are running?
Good afternoon, brethren. Thanks so much for having me here. My name is Philip William Ayob, and my local congregation is in Darwin, District of Western Australia. My business is named as Advanced Physio Health, and I've been running it for a year now, since last year, September. And
Thank you very much, Brother Philip. It looks like we have people from from two different worlds altogether. We have Sister Irene, who works as a hairdresser, and she's about to share her stories. And we also have Brother Philip working in healthcare and also running his business as a physiotherapist. And I reckon, to Lois, that we will have a really interesting time together because we'll have very unique stories to hear from both of our guests today. And right before we continue our segments, let's have a look at some of our early commenters because we're starting to get them into our live chats. We will always look into our live chats throughout our entire discussions. And please feel free not only to leave your comments, but also any shout outs that you would like to let anyone or all of your loved ones know. And also anything interesting that you find from today's episode. Let's quickly go through some of our brethren, including Sister Shaisel from Caboolture local congregation, Sister Leticia Kiseo from Cabul, as well as from the local congregation of Caboolture, who are taking the opportunity to greet a happy 13th anniversary to the local congregation of Mackay in Queensland District. Happy watching as well from the Christian Family Organization Overseer of New South Wales District, Brother Richard Esperanza. We also have Sister Geneva Makasakit, Brother Trel Bongkalon from Dalwalino Group Worship Service here in Western Australia, Brother Zelmar Bongares, the resident minister of the local congregation of North Sydney, from where Sister Irene is from. Happy viewing to all from North Sydney local congregation. Sister Althea Ragat, Sister Eunice Trinidad, and Sister Ali Rojo, everyone coming from different local congregations all throughout Australia. And I'm pretty sure Atalois will have a lot more to go through later on, and we will have more viewers coming our way. And once again, a huge thank you to every loyal viewer and listener who is always tuning into our episodes every week and staying with us for the last 3 seasons of INC Radio's Made in Australia. Let's have a look at this week's Mates in MIA.
From the bushland to the beaches and everywhere in between, let's thank this week's Mates of MIA.
From the local of Caboolture, we love INC Radio.
We love INC Radio Australia, here in Brisbane. From the district of Queensland, Australia, Emerald GWS, we love INC Radio. We love INC Radio Australia from the congregation of parents. 3, 2, 1. From Bundaberg GWS, we love INC Radio Australia.
Happy viewing po, brethren sa Australia po, from Mackay. Yay!
From the District of Queensland, Australia,
we love INC Radio.
And looks like after Lois, we're getting so many thank yous every week. And again, thank you very much to all of our viewers who are always tuning into us in our INC radio programs every week. And I think after Lois, we're seeing a really lively chat going on. And I think there should be a very interesting question that they're all looking forward to, don't you think?
Yes, Brother Hans, exactly. And like once again, we just want to say thank you. It's very heartwarming to see all of the mates of Mia, and also to really see all of your happy faces. Po. So thank you so much for tuning in. And yes, let me just read a few comments, Brother Hans, from Cecilia Guanzing. Happy viewing po, Michelle Scott and family. We love INC Radio Australia. Greetings from Shepperton. Hello po. Sarah May Soriano, happy viewing po mga kapatid from Manor Lakes. Marichelle Bongares, always nice to see the support of INC Radio across Australia. From Wyndham, hello sister. And from Zane Bayalan, we love INC Radio. From Hobart and Mags Magno, happy hello po to the Muscat family from Altona. And of course, like what we have mentioned earlier, we have a very interesting and exciting topic for today. So please share us your tips, or if you have any experience in starting a business here in Australia. We would love to hear your thoughts and your tips, and we will share them to everyone as well later on.
And before we begin, let's all stay tuned because you are watching Made in Australia, brought to you by INCRadio Australia Satellite Studio, one of the official satellite studios of INC Radio.
Made in Australia.
Welcome back to INC Radio, Made in Australia, brought to you by INC Radio Australia Satellite Studio. Shout out to our guest for today, Sister Irene and Brother Philip. Thank you so much for joining us, brother and sister, in a very interesting topic in this episode. Share us your thoughts as well. Keep on commenting, and we will be there later to read your comments and your thoughts and your experiences about starting a new business here in Australia.
You know, Ate Lois, I'm really excited for today's episode because we're going to look not just at the world of small business owners, but we'll actually be able to get different perspectives altogether. Because yes, we have small business owners, but at the same time, they come from very different fields. So I'm really looking forward to the stories and all the conversations that we will be having today. And I'm pretty sure all of our viewers would be very interested. That is why we will all keep an eye on the live chats and see your engagements at the same time. And if you have any questions for Brother Philip or Sister Irene, please feel free to pop them in the chats, and we'll try to entertain as much as possible for today's episode. Now, really, to really get the ball rolling on the ground and also get the conversation going, we actually want to know a little bit more about how exactly our businesses started. Like what exactly led both of you, Brother Philip and Sister Irene, to start off with the businesses that you are now running. Let's start with you first, Irene.
Hello po. So I started my business po. I started from like home service po before. So when it came to Australia back 2010, because this is my skill and then my passion, until I decided I want to be a permanent or hairdresser, and then God gave me the answer po. So they allow me to open my own shop po. So it's my passion to do hair and make the people beautiful po.
Ooh, that's one value that we'll be really pretty much looking forward to, Ateloy. So the passion and translating it into starting a service through businesses like this, just like what Ate Irene has been saying, and she's also been doing it for quite some time already, and that is something that we'll pretty much be looking forward to, Ateloy. I'm really excited for this.
Yes, Brother Hans. And speaking of beautiful, like what Sister Irene said earlier, hello to Sister Juliana. Happy watching po. And also we would like to greet the resident minister of Mackay, Brother Shan Bernal. Hello po, brother. And to our district supervising minister, Brother Orly Mackay. And thank you so much for supporting Made in Australia. Now, Brother Hans, like what you've asked earlier, it's important to also think ascertain, like, what really inspired our brother and sister Irene and brother Philip in starting their business. So, brother Philip, to you now. um, what inspired you to start the business?
Um, First of all, I would like to say hi to all the brethren watching right now, and a quick history. I want to acknowledge first my business partner Jamar, who operate in Port Macquarie, New South Wales. So basically, we started back when I was in when we were in Mount Isa. So we were roommates, co-workers, and then I remember we were having dinner with Pieroni, and then we shared ideas. And by that time, we sharing ideas. We don't know that that's the time that we are on a planning stage of our potential business. And and my inspiration is my employer owns 30 clinics across Australia. So my mate and I were dreaming of someday we could have the same number of clinics in the future. So that's how it started, sharing ideas, and then it materialized now.
And I think that's another crucial thing we look at Aloy. So this time we're also looking at building good relationships, not only with colleagues but also with longtime friends. Just like in the case of brother Philip, in his instance, we're looking at someone who started a business as a result of a really good bond formed over the years. With his case, starting all the way from back in New South Wales, going to where he is now in Darwin. I think we'll take a lot of really good lessons from today's episode at Lois. Now, that's something that I'm really looking forward to. What do you think?
Yes, I look forward to this. And I think we'll also briefly touch on, like what you said, Brother Hans. We are talking about different areas or departments, if you feel like. And so Brother Philip is a physiotherapist, and then Sister Irene is a hair and makeup artist. Can we touch on briefly po, like, what is a physiotherapist, and what does that look like? And Sister Irene, for you later, what does beauty and cosmetics, like how do we do that? Brother Philip.
For a physio is more of like a movement specialist. So we assess and diagnose we assess and diagnose certain conditions, mainly musculoskeletal conditions. We rehabilitate injured people, getting and helping them back to their pre-state injuries, and we make the clients feel better. We reduces their pain. So yeah, we rehabilitate mainly.
That's very wonderful. And Brother Hans, I'm not sure about you, but I am a nurse, and working in a healthcare the healthcare industry, having or to develop your own business is such a dream, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's one of those really difficult but at the same time very rewarding passions to take on, working in healthcare. And as someone who is also looking to get someday into the healthcare space, that's also something that I would like to personally get into myself. And in saying this also, and saying about healthcare and business owners, I'd also like to give a few shout outs to some of my relatives personally. So I have my Tita Dang and also her entire family, who also runs a clinic back home in the Philippines. And shout out to them too, because at the same time, running a business and working in healthcare, although they're some of the most difficult things to intertwine together, they are one of the most rewarding and fulfilling roles to take on in life. And heads up to everyone who is both working in healthcare and running at a business at the same time. That's something I'm really looking forward to, Atalos. That's something that someday I hope I'll be able to get into, just like Brother Philip as well. Now, let's see, what is it like at the Irene? What is a typical day in your life like, running your business as a hairdresser and running the salon that you've got?
Yeah, hello po. I'm a hairdresser, so my services offered, I do haircut, I do straightening, I do hair color, and for the makeup po, so I do wedding makeups. So I accept sa mga big events po. I specialize po with a special effect makeup. I work with Australian filming po. So I do some short movies and filmings and TV series po as a screen and media makeup artist po. And yeah, yun po.
That's amazing. Because, when you have like special effects and, you have to, like, there's a different technique, especially when you're in camera and Brother Hands, like this, even being in camera, it's already a bit hard because you have to adjust the lighting, and makeup is essentially, a really important aspect as well. Now, you must be very busy with that, Sister Irene.
Yes po. Especially September to January, a lot of occasions going on. Um, Weddings, formals, and at the same time, filming po. So it's about ano po the filming because it's a good weather na po.
Ooh, speaking of good weather, that's really something I'm looking forward to as well, Ate Irene. I find it very interesting that it's not just the regular everyday customers that you see that you are serving yourself, but you're also into it's a really really big clientele. So it's also movie stars and within the film industry here in Australia that you're also serving yourself, and that's something wonderful that I hope I was able to get some. If I was there, I would have probably gotten some makeup before we even started this broadcast, because that's how interested and stoked I am for this. Now, what about you, Brother Philip? What is it like in running your business day to day as a physiotherapist?
As a physio, my day starts with I have to be early at work. So if I start 8:30 in the morning, I have to be there at 8. And my day starts with getting on top of all the paperworks. I make sure I have time to do all my clinical notes, sending and progressing exercises, reading and replying to all emails. Usually I spend 30 minutes for that. After that, I start organizing all my tools, my supplies, then go straight assisting and treating patients. Then at the end of the day, I make sure I have at least 30 minutes to wrap up all my clinical notes at the end of the day. So there won't be any pending the next day. And that is why I have to be on top of everything, because the most challenging part is making the reports to all the insurance company. That is very time consuming. That is my routine on a daily basis as a physio.
Wow. So, when you say that, you get really busy, because I think as a business owner, sometimes you can't help it, but you do um multiple roles, right? Like you're an admin, you do your documentation. But so thinking about all these things, even before you started the business, like, did you also get scared, brother and sister? Like, did you have any reservations? What were the things that you felt when you decided, right, I'm gonna, start my own business? Let's start with Sister Irene.
So ano po, I just have to believe to myself that I can do and I can manage myself to ano po to manage the business. So and yeah, I check all my appointment apps, yung mga clients ko po, how many people are coming today, and so then I can manage po yung time ko po.
Yeah. So did you also feel scared, a little bit scared, when you decided to start your business, Sister Irene?
Yes po, I'm really scared kasi it's a quite different po to manage the business compared to our country po, the Philippines, because there's a lot of regulations and rules po that I have to follow in Australia. Opo. So I have to to read and follow the Australian ano po, rules and regulations po in my industry po. So I have to read thoroughly and follow it po.
Well,
Yes.
that's something that we want to look into very shortly, Atelois, because I'm sure that doing business here in Australia, there's also a lot of different and unique rules and regulations that I don't think is very common, or I wouldn't say very common. I would say it's not as well emphasized. Maybe not well emphasized is not the right word. It makes Australian businesses a little bit unique because there are different standards here that it's not always present in other parts of the world, which is something that I'm really looking forward to. And can you give like maybe one example at the Irene of what maybe a standard business rule or regulation you look into complying yourself whenever you're running this business?
So in my industry po, I joined in like what we call Haba. It's a hairdressing organization. So then I'm on top of the rules and regulations because every year po they change the regulations and some tips and advice for on how you're managing your business and how you treat your staff po as well. So you make sure that, and also you have to for me, I have to add some qualification or certification to be able to, more confidence po in my skills and my sa business po.
I personally find that
That's great.
admirable, Ate Irene. Hey, so is it Ate Lois? It's quite admirable how Ate Irene, and I'm pretty sure Brother Philip is also working on this. That there's always qualifications that we usually use to upskill the skills that we're doing. But what do you think, Ate Lois?
Yes, that's right. Now, before we head to Brother Filippo, we've got a very special shout out, Baby Feliz. Hello, Bobby. Hello, Baby Feliz, and of course the parents. Thank you so much for listening and watching the episode today. And just two comments we've got from Eunice Trinidad watching po. And good luck for all the performers po in Port Adelaide. And it was also Carla Shadel Padama. Happy viewing po to all the brethren around the world. Mandurriao, I think I hope I am saying that correctly. Iloilo South and Caboolture, Australia. And Jonathan Quizon, happy watching from Armadale po. Thank you so much. Now, Brother Philip, when you start something, sometimes it can get scary. And like what Brother Hans said, you need to consider a lot of things like the qualifications and, making sure that you are on the right path when you're starting the business. So what did you feel when you started your business, and what were the important things that you had to consider?
Yeah, definitely. I feel scared at first because that's a human nature. But for me personally, if you know what you're doing, you won't get lost. So just stick with it, and then everything will follow. And in healthcare business, especially physio, dealing with people, so you have to be qualified before you can see a patient or a client. And I think that's the hardest part in my case is to get the qualification, a certain qualification needed in order to practice as a physio in Australia.
Oh, that's something that I really admire and respect about healthcare professionals here in Australia, like yourself, Brother Philip. All the qualifications and training that everyone has to undergo, and even as myself, who recently just came out of a health science degree and still looking to get into healthcare, that's something that I admire Australia about, and everyone who works in healthcare. Everyone comes out from after all their training and qualifications as people who are actually able to practice their field and contribute great amounts to society wherever they are in Australia. And that's something I find admirable. And I think as a healthcare professional yourself, at Lois, I think that's also something that I'm pretty sure you could relate to very much.
Yes, yes, Brother Hans, like the goal and the passion, and I guess just in general, contributing and doing something meaningful. That's a really important thing. And just going back to Sister Irene and Brother Philip, to have that passion, and then you have the goal, and then starting a new business, it again, it does have some challenges as well along the way. But what can you share to our listeners and viewers, even just your top three, like top three things that every aspiring entrepreneur should think before they start a business? And you can talk about, in context of Australia as well, what are the things that they should be looking out for? Let's start with Brother Philip.
In my case po, number one is you need to find your passion or what you're good at. Because I believe the most successful people or successful business are founded by people who are passionate about what they do. And if you love what you do, they'll never work a day in your life. And for example, because your work is going to fill a large part of your life. For example, if you start working 18 years old and then you retired 65 years old, it's half of your life. And I think that's the most challenging part, is to be on top of what you're doing and to be able to do great work because you love what you're doing. And another thing is you make research. You have to learn your target customer so that you can adjust your marketing to a certain people that needs your service. So yeah, needs your service. And then the number three is for me, if you start a business, you have to be resilient, and you have to be ready to put a lot of hard work, because in business, don't expect your business will be successful early on. When you start it, expect some losses, but just be resilient and put a lot of effort early on. I'm sure eventually your sales or whatever will rack up soon. So yeah, I think that's it. Find your passion, learn your target customer, and resilience, and put a lot of hard work in business. I think that's it.
I found this to be very admirable, Brother Philip, and I think Atelos, that's also a lot of the values and the actions that Brother Philip is taking himself is also a good testament to how we show our faith as members of the Church of Christ, and in this very context, small business owners like himself and Sister Irene show it in the work that they do. What do you think, Ate?
Yes, no, exactly. I'm writing down notes, brother Hans, and I think our listeners and viewers are also doing the same thing. Let me repeat that actually. So you need to have a goal and your passion. You need to research your target clients, your target market, and then be resilient. I think those are really important things to really consider. I think even not just when starting a business, but life in general, isn't it? What do you think, brother Hans?
Oh yeah, definitely, Atelos. That's something very applicable, not just for running business, but generally any endeavor that anyone looks to do in life. And I think our viewers also agree here. So if there's also other things that you'd like to bring out to our viewers, there's also very wonderful things we could look at. Actually, while I'm looking at them, there's actually someone who's asking, all the way from Wyndham local congregation, from Brother Hervid Katakutan. Let's direct this question to Auntie Irene next, and then to Brother Philip. What are your best advice for a successful business in Australia? Let's have Auntie Irene next.
Ano po, to be able to be successful and ano po, as a business owner, entrepreneurship po, you stay humble. That's it. No matter how succeed you are, no matter how far you are now, stay humble po. Yun po. And then, kasi yung if you stay humble, people will love you po. So you don't have to, tell to the people that I do this one, I do that one. So po. So, and also you stay follow what's our ano po, the words of God po.
That's very inspiring, brother Hans, brother Philip. Sister Irene, thank you for sharing that one. Brother Philip shared earlier his top three as well, like in your industry, and I think a lot of my friends are messaging me right now. Okay, ask Sister Irene how to do proper makeup. I think that's gonna be another episode. But Sister Irene, what are the top three things, especially in a hair and makeup industry, because I can only assume that there are a few competition happening there, like different services that you are going to be offering. So what are your top three when and in experience as well?
Is as in my industry po. So my top three for, like, you should have the passion po, and then you have love on what you are doing po, and then never ever give up po sa lahat ng, kasi a lot of competition. You don't compare yourself to others po, because you have your own special skills, you have your own special ability. So yun po. So just, your passion, your love at work, and then just don't give up, and then yeah, just believe in yourself po.
Now, Brother Hans, you wanted to start your business as well in the future. That's really good advice, isn't it?
Oh, I would also say the same to you, Angelos. I think for both of us, if we're looking to have our own businesses, we'll have to take inspiration from both Sister Irene and Brother Philip today. Because really, I feel a lot more energized now to actually just listen and take up all of this advice. So someday we could all be in the same realm as them, pretty much. Now, looking into this, we've had a few conversations about how important it is to plan and to pretty much prepare every day so that we don't get a lot of work stacked up. And I think this is especially for Brother Philip when he mentioned a while ago about his day in his life where he has to plan every single thing that he does, including all of the clinical notes that he has and then also working on all of his clients and also doing all of his all of his post work at the end of the day, and also with Sister Irene and checking out all of her bookings as well as making sure she is on top of her game as well as a hairdresser. Now, when it comes to, let's say, the legal side of running a business book, how important exactly is planning for these posts? So now we're looking more into the legalities, like let's say setting up a business registration, all the permits, or maybe just in general, just being able to budget the amount of time and resources that you put into your business. Let's have you first, Brother Philip.
Um, it's really important to plan ahead and strategize everything because here in Australia, every move you made, every ticket, every paperwork you request, it's always have you need to pay. So to prevent any necessary expenses, you have to plan. Even by just getting a good accountant, preparing for all the permits, qualification, registration, and in my profession, healthcare, you have to have a good liability insurance for any liability. So that's the number one thing to protect your practice and then yourself as well. And aside from that, you have to make sure that you have enough budget for all the equipment, supplies needed on a daily operation. So if you do that, I think a business will survive on a daily basis until yeah.
I think that's really admirable, Brother Philip. There's quite a lot of work and effort that we put into managing the business. Don't you think, Alois? There's a lot that actually goes behind the scenes, and it's not just the actual practice and trade itself. It's even being able to manage literally every single resource, especially here in the context of being here in Australia. What do you think, Alois?
Yes, no, that's true. And I think for some of us, Brother Hans, when we think about the requirements, the permits, and the licenses, that's where we, as an aspiring entrepreneur, that's where we stop, right? Because we think, oh no, that's too much work, or I don't know where to start. So Sister Irene, I'm also interested if you experience the same thing, and to you, and when you started your business, what did you do to make sure that those things are also being taken care of?
So ano po, I make sure that I follow the rules and regulations for in my industry. And also for like, when you're setting up the business, I hired some qualified trade to install the lights, the tools and like machines in my shop. So then if any issue, any problem, it's easy for them to talk to them. And also like insurances, public liability, it's part of as well the requirements po. And certification, if also like you're skilled, so you to be able to confidence to manage your business, you have to get a certificate. Like what I did my certificate 2 and 3 for hairdressing and diploma for screen and media makeup specialist. So then it's more like you're easy and then also confidence po to manage your own business kasi you have this certification po.
And I think that's very important, right, Brother Hans? Now, how about from our listeners and viewers? I think there's a lot of comments right now, and maybe we should read some of the comments.
Let's check it out, Lois. There's some more interesting comments coming all the way through, and let's go quickly to just a few of these. So we've got Sister Carissa Ocon from Manor Lakes Local Congregation. Humble equals success. Love this book. I think this is also something that both Sister Irene and Brother Philip shared a while ago, and she loved the advice that you gave a while ago. Po. And also we have brother or Sister Ian Santos, one all top tips. I think so far every single comment that we have got, every single tip that we have done so far are all top notch, po. And I think this is exactly what's on the comments, po, so far. And we've also got a comment from Brother Stephen McMahon from Manor Lakes that so far this is an awesome stream that is going on right now at Lois. It's very commendable for both our guests and ourselves today. And also we've got a few other comments at Lois. That's actually quite a lot. Can you help me out, please? Oh my goodness, it's
Yes.
actually a little bit overwhelming.
Yes, well, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts as well. So now, thank you. We would like to thank you for your comments. Happy Sunday, and we love and support INCRadio Australia from Sister Geraldine Nagal, Liberty Tarok, Leila Enriquez, Fernando Abelgaz, Louis Obot, and also from Noli Ibanez Jr. Good afternoon, po, brethren. Happy viewing from Shepperton. June Samala, Shireen Lorenzo, and Randil Armamento. Thank you so much, brethren, for commenting, and keep on commenting. And if you have questions as well to our guests, Sister Irene and Brother Philip, please let us know. Now, Brother Hans, when you have your business already, I think the other things that we want to explore is, will there be challenges that you would encounter? And I think that challenges is very normal, right? So Sister Irene, I want to start with you. Have you encountered any challenges while let's say running the business, and how did you overcome them?
Yes po. So a lot of life challenges. So what I did po, I always pray. I always pray to help me how to overcome. And then so if I encounter some challenges, I have to write it down. So what I have to improve to my businesses. And then if some clients, if I receive some complaints, or so I have to work it on. I have to listen to my clients. Then I have to enhance my skills. And then in the future, I won't be able to make the mistake again. And also, I go for a research. I attend some seminars again to add more skills in my industry po.
Wonderful. Thank you, Sister Irene. How about Brother Philip? Did you, and I know from the same healthcare industry, there will be a lot of challenges. So how did you overcome them?
At the moment, I'm still learning and growing, and the biggest challenge is renting a suitable place, because right now it's so expensive. That is why it's expensive to rent a place, because every week you have to pay a certain amount. So that's why my goal is to keep the overheads low as much as possible. That's why you have to plan ahead, especially prepare your finances about that. And then another thing is, during difficult times, I asked for guidance, and then what he gave me at the moment, he gave me a granny flat so I can start at least my practice. So I converted my granny flat to a functional physio clinic so people can come in so I can cater them. So in that way, I reduce the overhead, especially the rent. While I'm building up caseload and saving up for transfer to a bigger place in the future. And another thing is in terms of competition. So in terms of competition, you really have to find your niche to compete on a bigger scale, on a bigger company. So in my case, I specialize on pain management and manual therapy, hands-on therapy. So people love it because I'm very hands-on and use different techniques to solve their injuries. Yep.
Wow, that's amazing. And yes, pain, yeah, that's a really, it's a common symptom, if we put it that way. And it's a very general complaint or symptom that people experience. And you're right, Brother Philip, finding your niche, right, Brother Hans? But how about, you said earlier about too many, you're juggling different things. Now, how do you manage your priorities, Brother Philip?
First of all, God is the main priority. Worship service, our duties, performance. Because if we perform, for me, that's my happy place. That's my resting. That's where I find peace and comfort, especially of all the troubles in life. And second, my family, and then yeah, my God, family, and then the work. So I always make time for the first two, first two in my life. So, and then time management, that's the most important tip, time management.
I love those aspects at the lowest where Brother Philip was talking about not just his contribution in running the business, but also how he puts his faith into perspective as being his number one foundation in not only running the business but also managing his life's affairs. And I'm pretty sure Sister Irene also has some really interesting tips and insights to share on this too, because as us members of the Church of Christ, we always put our faith first in everything we do. And in this context of being small business owners, it's also not an easy lifestyle to manage. But at the same time, it also makes it very rewarding for them when they put their faith first in in not only their services to people but also their services to God. Now, what about you, Sister Irene? What are some of the lessons that you have picked up along the way as a business owner that you were able to use to even strengthen your faith?
For me po, I think I'm a more good listener po, and like more like the patience. So as a hairdresser, a lot of people like telling you their stories, and then some of them they want some advice. So as a member of the Church of Christ po, I share my faith po with my clients, which is I made them feel happy, and I think nakakatulong ako na they struggling at the moment sa mga ano nila sa life nila. When I shared the faith that I've learned from our church administration po, nakatulong ako kasi I made them happy po. Yun po, sharing my faith.
That is so inspiring, Sister Irene. It's like, and the way I put it, Brother Hans, is like, Sister Irene is not only making people beautiful, but she's also using that and utilizing that opportunity to share her faith. And as members of the Church of Christ, it is very important that, we also help other people in many, many ways. Don't you think, Brother Hans?
Oh yeah, definitely, Ataloy. So I'm really glad that we've got people like Sister Irene and Brother Philip who use their lifestyle to also spread the words of God and also propagate their faith too. So that's something that I think that is the most important service that we're all able to do. And it's not just us being able to provide any technical help or skills to people, but also being able to use this as a way to spread further God's words and become a good influence in the world. Po. And speaking of which, we actually have a few shout outs. Po. So Brother Mark Kiseo from Queensland District wants to give a shout out to Kateri and Mel Stevenson, Cruz Pair family, Jumawan family, all from the local congregation of Caboolture, and also Kari and baby Letitia Kiseo as well. Shout outs to all of you, po. And now, speaking of which, at Lois, I think we have a really fruitful discussion today, and we've learned so much from our wonderful guests. And I'm pretty sure we do have a lot of our live chat still being engaged with us today, po. And before we look into that, in a few moments, I think this is not just for us here in Western Australia, but also in some other places across Australia. We'll be having our musical evangelical mission. So for us here, if you are here in Western Australia, that will be at exactly 5 p.m. So that is less than an hour from now, exactly at the Morley Sports and Recreation Center here in Morley, Western Australia. If you are here in WA, please come over and let's enjoy a good time in our musical evangelical mission. And before we wrap up things, at Lois, I think we still have some eager commenters still looking at us today.
Yes, they are they're very thankful for the topic actually. And Sister Irene and Brother Philip, once again, thank you so much for sharing your tips. We've got greetings from Hervin Katakutan, Harold Dulay, Robert Nipal, Ernie Mar Padilla, shout out kay ka Andy Avanzado, Warrnambool, GWS. We've got Jolina Valdez, we love INC Radio. And Finny Caperal, cheers to Windham Local, District of Victoria, Australia. Thank you so much and keep on commenting.
And again, stay tuned, everyone, because you are watching Made in Australia, brought to you by INCRadio Australia Satellite Studio, one of the official satellite studios of INC Radio. And for the meantime, let's have a go and let's discover what's down under this week.
My name is Moana from the Congregation of Armadale. My duty is the Assistant Auditor in Finance. My business is a cafe here in Kelmscott. It's called the Pink Cafe Kelmscott. I've been here for 3.5 years now. I've always been in the hospitality industry. Just meeting different people who love it. Well, I'm not originally from Perth. I'm from Sydney. I was brought up in Sydney, but came over to Perth and thought I started a new life and be more involved in the church. I think when I met my husband, he saw what I can do when he first met me. When I met him, I was already working in a cafe, and he saw that I could do what I do now. As you can see me behind the coffee machine, and he thought he'd buy me a little one for myself. But I didn't realize that I can change people's life as they come through this door. It's crazy.
When you first started, when you thought of starting a business, what are some of the steps, the initial steps that you had to do in order to acquire this business?
I had to obviously do a research of all the cafes and the difference with all the other cafes in the area and what I would be changing to make a difference. And I found that when I was actually behind the coffee machine, meeting different people, listening to their stories, how do I help them? Obviously, you wouldn't even think you just make a coffee. You actually really make a difference by just making a coffee, listening to the customers. And yeah, I think ever since that, I've just been like, I can really make I change their life really. Just listening to what they've been going through over a coffee. Yeah, the technical side of things, of course, it comes with the permits and making sure your car's registered on how you actually get the food into the workplace. Like you need to have all that permits. We also have the health inspectors come in like twice a year, making sure that, all the regulations are in places. My staff members, they've got their PPEs and their hair tied up. A few of the brethren from our congregation actually are inspired with what I'm doing. They've even asked me if they can actually learn on how to actually have a business. So I said to them, what are they into and what are their hobbies? Just find any interest of what they do. And I've got one of the brethren that actually is starting her own over here. She makes our chunky cookies up on the cabinet there. She's just started that. Every week we're here when the shop shuts. We're here. We're learning about how it works, on how to actually promote her products and how to make cookies. We're always eating cookies in the afternoon, taking pictures, how to actually date these products and make sure that these products have their actual name and dates when you're actually putting them away, and who we're actually targeting. like our clients and customers. Who's our customer? Who's your customers? Do you know what I mean? So she's learning from that, and she's been doing this for like 3 weeks now.
It seems like there's also a lot to juggle in between. So there's the business and obviously getting a whole community out of the customers that come every day, and also managing personal life and also church duties too. How do you manage to balance them all as a small business owner yourself?
I guess I just let God guide me the right way, really. I've always trusted that. Ever since I've become a member, I've learned so much being in the church. And, being a business owner, of course, you get nervous, you scared, you just don't know where to go with the business. My biggest fear is not paying my staff all the rent and having this place going. And no one actually taught me anything about business. No one. But I've just learned to just put my faith in God and let Him guide me the right way.
Made in Australia. Made in Australia is turning 1. Join us in our special anniversary episode, Thank You, Mates of Mia. We'll celebrate you, our amazing viewers, for a year of support. We're giving away exciting prizes, and you'll hear inspiring Made in Australia experiences from our crew, guests, and viewers. Don't miss this milestone episode on Sunday, September 7 at 5 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, 3 p.m. Philippine Time. From all of us at Made in Australia, thank you, Mates of Mia. Made in Australia.
All right, welcome back to Made in Australia, brought to you by INCRadio Australia Satellite Studio. Now, let's talk about discovering Down Under. In our today's episode, we featured Sister Moana Moe and Brother Hans. I think you were there with her, featuring about her cafe. And that was another inspiring story about starting a business. I love the way she said, you can change lives even with just a cup of coffee, and you can really see the passion there. And, we can see how Sister Moana's really prioritized her duties as well inside the Church of Christ. And that really is a heartwarming discovering Down Under video for today. Now, Brother Hans, we've got comments and we've got greetings as well from our brethren. We've got Hervin Katakutan, Blessed Sunday, happy viewing. We've got Harold Dulay, Robert Nipal, Enimar Padilla. And we've also got Sister Jillian Evangelista, happy 38th anniversary to the local congregation of Minchinbury. Hello po everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. And Brother William Manaba, hello po brother. Well, happy viewing to my beautiful and lovely wife, Cecilia Manaba. That was so sweet. And to our wonderful son, Brother Liam. Greetings from Shepperton. And yeah, that's what I have for the greetings. But please keep on commenting. And if you've got more greetings, we'll get to it later. Now, Brother Hans, Brother Philip, and Sister Irene, and everyone, let's jump into one of our viewers' all-time favorite segments, Game Time.
It's game time. Let's play.
All right, everybody, we'll be looking straight into the live chat section, and we'll just have one question this week. This one question is also your one chance to win this week's exclusive Made in Australia mug. So now let's get right into it. It sounds very technical. All right. In economics, what happens when supply is greater than demand? A, prices rise. B, prices fall. C, prices stay the same. And or D, people stop buying. And I wish I knew the answer because it's such a long time since I've read economics myself, so I have no clue. I think I'll pass it on to you, Ate Lois. Do you have any idea?
Oh, it's been a while too, and as a nurse, I don't read a lot about this, which is not something. Well, it is something I should be reading, right? But before that, we've got another special shout out to Karani Lamahan and Ka Baby Lamahan po, our resident minister of Brisbane. Hello po, and thank you so much for watching. Now, well, I really don't know the answer, but I think let's see if we've got some answers on our live chat. Again, the question is what happens when supply is greater than demand? And you can see that as well. Well, I don't know, Sister Irene, maybe we can ask you about this one. Shall we reveal the answer or?
Or later, let's have our guest try to guess this. Brother Philip, do you have any quick guess put to the answer? What do you think, po?
Fall, letter B.
Fall. Okay, so we've got fall from Brother Philip. And what about you, Sister Irene? What do you think is the answer, po?
Yes po, prices fall.
Prices fall. And I think we're seeing similar answers from our chats as well at the lowest. So we've got two, but I think we're getting toe to toe with the answers here. And before we get into the actual answer, there's also one final shout out I'd like to give to, and this is to Sister Jessie Pakipak, our head secretary in the local congregation of Sterling, as well as to her whole family, telling us on how we are having a good episode today. Po. And I think Ate Lois, it's time. It's actually time we find out what the answer is. I'm just gonna rely on what our guests and our live chat has said. I think it's going to be B, but let's have a look. What's the answer?
It's correct.
Congratulations, it's B.
It's letter B. Prices fall. Now let's go to the live chat and see what are the answers. So I think they've got a few different answers in the live chat. But also, someone commented, congratulations po for this episode. Bitin po ng slide. Yes, I think there should be another one, right? And let's see. Okay.
I think we have the answer at Lois. Like who
We've
got
got
it
the
first?
answer now. So someone answered it first, letter B, and that is Jacqueline Gallarde from Shepperton.
Congrats,
Yay!
Sister Jacqueline.
Congratulations! Now, Brother Hans, it has been a very wonderful episode this evening, and we learned a lot about staying resilient, and never be afraid to start our business. And this has also inspired us and our listeners and viewers. Now, shall we ask our guests today for their greetings? Let's start with Sister Irene.
I would like to greet po my local po, North Sydney. Hello po. And I would like to greet po happy birthday to district minister minister po from Sydney. Happy birthday po Ka Jay. And to our minister po Brother Eman. Hello po.
Yay! Thank you so much, Sister Irene. How about Brother Philip?
I would like to use the opportunity to greet. Thank you, local congregation of Darwin, for support. Kafel Kajep, thank you, local congregation Bagong Bayan, Taguig in the Philippines. Siargao Sitters Garden, Ayog family in Siargao, Kari Kalota, my in-laws, Grimdoy family, Kaalan Cariza, Ventura family, my business partner, Jemar Tejero, and the Dean of College of Physio, Dean Boyet, and Kael Ginobalde of NEU. To all my students, thanks for your support. I think that's it po. That's it po.
And that
All
looks like
right.
to be very fruitful at the lowest. Don't you think we're very thankful for today's episode?
Yes, very thankful. And thank you so much, Brother Hans, for also really, this is a really good, discussion. All right. And that wraps up today's episode. Stay tuned this season as we continue exploring what it's like to live, work, and thrive in the land down under.
And thank you as well to our viewers, to all our commenters, and also to our guests for today, and as well as to our Christian family organizations. Thank you for always giving us opportunities to create wonderful shows just like this one that we're doing every week for Made in Australia.
That's right. And above all, we thank our Deputy Executive Minister, Brother Angelo Eranio V. Manalo, and our beloved Executive Minister, Brother Eduardo V. Manalo. And I think that's it for tonight. See you next week, everyone. And thank you. Bye.
Bye. Thank you po.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye po.
Made in Australia.